Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. On this episode of Build Your Own, we're going to feature a news story about a former vice president of marketing at a respected Pompano Beach Porsche dealership who was recently tossed in jail. Now he's facing federal charges after he convinced about 30 people to make down payments on new exotic Porsches that actually didn't exist. Now, why is this information important to us? Well, because on this channel, we build and price new cars up to and including Porsches. So, before we get into this story, I just want to remind you that if you find this news helpful, informative, or entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so, crazy story. I literally stumbled across it in social media yesterday. This guy, Shiraaz Sookralli, he was a VP. He's a sales executive at Champion Porsche. This is the largest Porsche dealership in the whole country, in all of the U.S., right? He promised dozens of people coveted reservations for 911 cars, right? They gave this guy over $2 million in deposits, right? This is a federal fraud. None of it was real, right? We're going to dig into this story. This is the link. I will give you the link so you can get to the story directly on the drive on this website, so you can get to the story directly. I'll put the link down in the description below. What's funny is, like I said, we do build and price Porsches on this channel. Matter of fact, I love the Porsche Panamera. I'm going to put a link up to that right now. I also recently did the 2019 Porsche Cayenne S and the 2019 Porsche 911 Carrera 4 GTS, super hot car there. I'll put a couple links to that up as well. So after we get through this article here, go take a look at those videos. Those cars are really, really hot. All right, let's move on. So it looks like this guy, none of this was real except for the money, right? This guy had created a shell company named Champion Autosports, and he was having these people wire money over there, right? And so, but instead of and then afterwards, he was just basically partying with the money, right? He was at Miami bars, restaurants. He was buying jewelry, luxury cars. He was doing it all. He was living big on these people's money, and they're sitting here waiting for cars that weren't actually even real or ever going to show up. Little background on this guy. He's got 10 kids. He's got $175,000 in credit card debt. So I guess they're thinking, what was the motivation for him doing it? Well, obviously it wasn't for the credit card debt or the children, because he's out there partying at Miami area bars and restaurants. The buyers were calling the dealership, right, wondering what was going on. Tracking numbers that this guy had given them were not working. Finally, somebody put it together, and then when he didn't have any more excuses, he bolted. He took off. So he finally got picked up by South Florida U.S. Marshals after he had vanished and had been gone for 6 months, right? And then Champion Porsche, largest Porsche dealer in the U.S., unraveled the scheme, right? Now this guy's facing what? Wire fraud. He's facing a lot of charges. Wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering. Look, this is the largest financial crime in Porsche Cars North America history. I don't know if you know of that TV show that was called American Greed. This might actually end up as an episode on that. I would not be surprised. Here's those formal charges. This is the affidavit, arrest warrant for this guy. What's his name? Shiraaz Sookralli, I think it is. So I guess he's not going to be formally arraigned until April 16th for whatever reason, whatever. Here's the deal, and this is what I'm curious about. Lack of supervision at the dealership. So this guy's the vice president of marketing, okay? He gets 30-ish people to give him deposits equaling over $2 million for Porsches that don't exist. The people are calling the dealership. They're putting in tracking numbers, yet nobody's saying anything to this guy. Nobody's saying, hey, what's up? Nobody's saying anything to this guy. Really? That's the funny part. Oh, and here's the deal. He plans to plead not guilty to all charges, of course. Okay, so here's the 911 GT scam. So this guy, Shiraaz Sookralli, I'm probably butchering his name, but whatever. He joined the sales team at Champion Porsche in 2007, right? He became the vice president of marketing by 2017. So within 10 years, He was a mover and shaker, obviously, by 2017. His main task was to handle clients looking to snag a reservation for a limited production Porsche 911 GT, specifically the GT2 RS, GT3, and GT3 RS. These are otherworldly cars, and buyers are well-heeled that want cars like this, and they're happy to put down $20,000, $30,000. And they know that they're going to have to wait for like a year for this vehicle. So I guess it really is a devastatingly simple crime, and I guess it is like shooting fish in a barrel. When you work at Champion Porsche, the largest Porsche dealership, why would anybody think twice about giving you their deposit? They wouldn't. They would not think twice about it. So yeah, it is a devastatingly simple, and the dealership just wasn't checking up on him by the time people started calling in. Yeah, I guess I was just kind of already talking about this. So we know that car dealerships have a bad rap for, sleazy salesmen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, like I said, Champion Porsche, largest Porsche dealership in the country. They go motorsports racing, right? This guy's a well-known figure. He's been there for a long time. So, yeah, buyers, they're happy to do this over the phone. So, yeah, he was converting people cold calling, and they're depositing this money right into his little phony bank account, his little phony company. So, according to this FBI special agent Austin Steelman, a sale, quote unquote, Sookralli, like I said, he established that shell corporation. It was called Champion Autosport. He did that sometime in 2017, right? And then he would instruct people that were interested in putting down a deposit on these GT Porsches to wire their deposits to this Bank of America account owned by his shell company. And he also created a bunch of fake paperwork so he could hide the scheme, phony buyer deposit agreements, bill sheets on these Porsches, and of course those tracking numbers that they were phony. They were no good. This guy would accept cash deposits, wire transfers, and bank checks, and then later he deposited into the shell company's bank account. All right, everything looked real legitimate. At no time, says a company representative, really, that Champion Porsche, that they authorized this guy to do that. Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't authorize him to do these transactions. But at the same time, he's the VP of marketing. I mean, what else was he doing on the day-to-day? I mean, this must have been his little side gig, right? He must have been doing what he was doing at the dealership, getting people to put money down on other expensive Porsches that they have. And then this was his little what? His little side hustle? I guess this was his side hustle. Embezzling. So who finally figured it out? Who knew what when, right? So we know the dealership didn't authorize his actions. We know that. They also weren't paying a close attention to him either. They couldn't have been because people were calling, and it took a while for everybody to figure it out, right? Obviously, this Sookralli guy hadn't reported any of these sales, yet it seems no one thought to check in on his business. So, like I said, this must have been his side hustle. During his day-to-day, I would assume the guy was there Monday through Friday, or whatever his work schedule was. What was he doing during that time? He had to be doing something. It wasn't all about these little cars, I guess. And if it was, wow, then nobody was really checking on the guy at all. But wait, it gets a little deeper, right? This guy, Shiraaz Sookralli, right, he was sued by another dealership in 2018 for a transaction involving a different shell company called Rampage Motors for this guy likes Porsches apparently, for a pair of $350,000 2016 Porsche 911 RSs, right? Or Rs, 911 Rs, right? The company was a place called M&L Luxury Cars. This guy, Sookralli, overcharged them. He wouldn't return the deposits. He failed to deliver the vehicles, of course. And ironically, Champion Porsche directly, the dealership is named in the lawsuit. So somebody had to know something was going on because these guys are bundled into what's going on now. So this guy's got a history of, doing some shady stuff, this guy. To add insult to injury, going back to how, hey, why weren't they on top of this at all? It even says here, Champion Porsche employees also confirmed that this guy Sookralli was living a pretty extravagant lifestyle, yet there were no red flags despite the fact, that American Express had been garnishing 25% of his wages since 2016 over unpaid debts. The management at multiple clubs and restaurants throughout Miami provided a detailed account of this guy's spending habits. So, I mean, he was blowing through money like it was water. I mean, he was going through it like crazy. So they've got some financial records to show some proof that Sookralli basically used other bank accounts and other bank accounts owned by his family members to launder this money to buy luxury vehicles and jewelry. And like I said, he took over $2.2 million and from about 30 individuals, and he spent nearly all of it. Now, I don't know. So in 2017, it's 2019 now. He spent that money quick, didn't he? He spent that money real quick. All right, so, things are starting to go down now. So around September 2018, right around the time when people began calling the dealership saying, hey, what is going on? Where is my 911? I put money down, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. People are inquiring about their vehicles. Guess what? Sookralli takes off. He never comes back to work because guess what? He's got nothing to say, right? He's got nothing to say. The gig is up or the jig is up or whatever they say, it's up. But he did try to make a last-ditch effort before he cut out of there, right? He tried to cover his tracks by taking his work computer and then replacing it with an older work computer that wasn't assigned to him, right? Just to try to throw him off a little bit. Yeah, the fallout was immediate, you think? So Porsche management begins peeling layers of this fraud that's on a breathtaking scale. Surely, I mean, we're talking a couple $1 million here. On September 10th, an attorney for Champion Porsche actually got Sookralli on the phone and was talking to the guy and asked him asked him about it point blank, if he had stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars. Actually, Sookralli said, hey, it's more like millions of dollars, right? And he was oddly cooperative, and he sent over a list of victims' names and everything, but then that's where the trail ended. It went cold because, well, I guess he vanished, didn't he? So meanwhile, FBI agents, they obtained permission to search his locked office. They discovered that old computer, so he did a really horrible job of stashing that. They found receipts for his spending sprees. The investigation wound on as both Champion Porsche and Porsche Cars North America. Bad press. Whole thing is, I didn't hear anything about this. I don't know if you did. Lots of angry enthusiasts, I'm sure. But here's the deal. Months later, all affected owners have been made whole one way or another. You know that's right. You got the largest Porsche dealership in the country. Then you have Porsche. I mean, it's Porsche. Of course they're going to make this right. It's just a couple $1 million for these two. And so, of course, they made it right. That's the good news there. Here's the thing, though. Yeah, big unanswered question. Where was Shiraaz Sookralli hiding? Right? When he took off, where was the guy? They didn't find the guy. Where was he? Everybody thought that he might have left the country. Turned out that he never left South Florida. After all, he spent all the money. He couldn't have gotten out of the country even if he wanted to. So now, this guy's in jail. He's in custody. He's got a court appearance coming up. That's going to be his bond hearing. He's got an attorney right now, as of this video. Anyway, the guy's name is Howard Schumacher. And he hopes to be free by the weekend, by the fin de semana. So, I guess we'll figure that out, find out if he is or not. Yeah, his attorney says, hey, we're hoping to get him out on bond. He's a U.S. citizen. He's got 10 kids, and his parents live here. I mean, after all, he was doing all this for his kids, right? And his parents and all that. All right, so, yeah, that's the end of the story. Totally crazy. Like I said, we build and price new cars. We build and price new Porsches. So when I saw this, I thought, oh my God, we gotta talk about this. We definitely got to talk about it. So yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and actually wrap this video up. Thank you for joining me. This information was really interesting. Really, really interesting. I still love Porsches. I still think Champion Porsche is awesome. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah, they probably could have done a better job doing their due diligence. But hey, nobody's thinking the worst out of people. People are hopefully still thinking the best out of people. So that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you for watching. If you watched the whole video, you're awesome. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Other than that, you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video.